Hey guys, Jess with Peekaboo Wreaths. We are back to work on our fall wreath, our newest fall wreath. It has blue tones, orange tones. I went into my stash of fall items from last year to get some inspiration, and I did find some. As you can see, it's all here on this table. I know it looks a little wild and crazy. Today, what we're gonna be doing in our video is actually putting our mesh in. We built the 21-inch mesh base in our last video. You can go check that out. But what I think I'm going to do is I wanted to incorporate this really pretty blue color. So I was trying to think, what kind of ribbons do I need that match that? And I found this one that I had gotten last year. It's Members Mark, so it is, I don't remember, I always forget if that's Costco or Sam's Club. But I got this one. It's really pretty. I couldn't really figure out if it was fall or Christmas. But we're gonna use it for fall. So it has really pretty orange and ivory, dark blue, and the same exact blue of this. So we're gonna be using this for the ribbon tails. And then we're also gonna be using this dark blue and this really pretty, it's like copper, and it has the olive green that we have in this mesh here, and like different shades of orange. So I think that'll be really pretty. We're gonna alternate those 1.5 inches and then put that 2.5 inch plaid in every single one. And then I was just bringing out some embellishments that I had in orange and blue shades. I have this sign that says welcome, and it has the pumpkins. And I found these pumpkins that I had that are the exact same, like tall shape as the ones on the sign, which, you know, that's always a good look, having the matchy-matchy. And then I pulled out some of the blue pumpkins that I have in my stash. I have one like this. So we could use that either maybe on the top or maybe even part of the bow. Like putting it in the middle of the bow. And then I have these little velvet blue ones that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I could always just cut these apart and stick one of these in a couple of the ties. And then we do have these large velvet ones. Well, I guess they're medium-sized velvet ones with these really pretty gilded stems. I got these from the Dollar Tree as well. So that is what we're working with. I think I'm going to be putting some of the raffia in this, the ribbon tail sections as well. So that's another reason it was good that we left our pipe cleaners long. All right. So to say all that, let's get going on this. So I did cut, as you guys saw last time, these are 10-inch mesh pieces. I cut them to 15 inches so that they don't cover up all of the green, but do cover up any exposed parts of the ring of the wreath form. Okay, so what I do is I always fold it over a time or two and then just keep my thumb stationary and gather right up the middle and then fold it over like that, the other side. So it kind of looks like a bow tie like this. Normally if I'm just using 10-inch mesh, I cut it to 30-inch lengths. But as I said before, I didn't want to fully cover up this green mesh because it's just gorgeous. It's green and it has some metallic tones to it. And now we have this blue on top of it, and it just, yeah, trust the process. I know it looks a little interesting doing the blue and the green for fall, but I really think it's going to turn out really beautifully. So that's that. So you guys will have to let me know. I was really excited. I saw that I hit 700 subscribers on my YouTube yesterday. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're not subscribed, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video. I produce lots of wreath making content. I rarely make a wreath in its entirety all in one video. I might include a couple steps. But normally on this channel, we kind of break it down into, like, we'll make the wreath form one day, we'll cut the mesh one day. It's a little slow, but if you need to just focus on learning or getting practice in one aspect of the wreath, this channel might be the one for you. If you did want to see how the whole wreath was made, you can just watch, you know, the next consecutive video. So I do a pretty good job at posting pretty regularly. We are all busy, right? I am a stay-at-home mom full-time, My boys are now in school full-time for the very first time, which is a little bit of a learning process. Yesterday was our first day. I made a post on my Facebook saying we all did great. I know it's not about me. I know that we raised them, you know, to be self-sufficient human beings who can go out into the world and grow and learn and all the things, but I was feeling a little bit missing them. That's just the truth. Although I'm very thankful, I know that they've grown so much. They're going to continue to grow, but at the same time, it's the first time I've been home without any little babies or any little children for 10 years. So, that's that. So today is day 2. I was thinking earlier, and I'm like, you know, the second day in something new is always like, it's kind of a bigger deal than the first day, because like the second day of school, you know what, in the first day you kind of knew, you didn't know what was going to happen, right? The second day, you know what to expect a little bit more. So you're going into it knowing what's going to happen. So it's kind of a true test of like how it's going to be, right? So anyways, I am not opening up my pipe cleaners. I'm just laying this 10-inch mesh down on top of the 21-inch mesh. Normally when we make our 10-inch mesh wreaths, we cut about 2 inches off of the pipe cleaner length in each one before we tie it onto the frame, because I don't normally use the whole pipe cleaner, but in this wreath where we have 21-inch mesh and 10-inch mesh, and then we're going to do ribbons and raffia, it's a smart idea to leave the pipe cleaners whole. So here we go. We can kind of tell how this wreath is looking already with the blue and the green together. I think that is so pretty. You guys will have to let me know. I know that I normally wouldn't think to put green and blue together in a fall wreath. I've never done that before, but I think it's gonna work. Yeah, trust the process, as they say, right? So, you know what's funny? Do you ever feel like you don't realize how many times you say until you watch yourself on video? And then you're like, why am I saying that so much? Kind of ran into that just now. Anyways, so we're putting this down, gathering it, making it look like a little bow tie like that. We're trying to keep it as even on both sides as possible so that the wreath looks nice and round. Just putting that piece of 10-inch mesh on top of the tie with the 21-inch mesh, and then just tying it in tightly. We don't want any of it flopping around. So you always make sure you twist it so that's nice and tight with the wreath form itself. We're almost done with the outside. We have 21-inch mesh on here, the 10-inch blue, and then we have some of the 10-inch burlap, just because this is the second wreath that I've made with that 21-inch mesh, and we ran out on the top. We knew we were going to run on the top, so it was not an accident. We knew that was going to happen. Instead of wasting the rest of that roll, I wanted to make sure that I did use it. So that's why we did that. And but it just leaves 2 ties that don't have any mesh in them. So we used the rest of our roll that we used in our last wreath. Look at how pretty this is looking already. So now we have the 6 on the top, except the 2 that have the burlap in them. We're not going to put a piece of blue on it because that's where we're going to put our bow. And I think it's going to look really pretty, and it's going to help accent the bow as well. There we go. Just putting that down. It doesn't really matter which tie you start with, as long as they get that mesh in there. So what I'm going to do with these ones, these burlap ones, since I'm not going to put any more ribbon or anything in them, I'm just going to twist them a couple times. I take that back. I'm going to leave them up because I'm going to put some raffia in those when I come back around and put the raffia in. Because even though you won't be able to see it a ton, you will be able to see the raffia a little bit sticking out behind the bow, and it's just an extra little detail that's going to look really nice. If we do use that pumpkin sign that it showed you, that welcome pumpkin sign, then we'll have to put our bow on the bottom of our wreath so that because if you put the bow on the top of that sign, you won't be able to have ribbon tails because it'll be blocking the words. All right, so even though I tried to roll that mesh a little bit, it is still a woven material, so there will still be a little bit of fraying. So if you see it while you're adding it into your wreath, just cut it a little bit. It'll be totally fine. And that's another reason it's important to use sharp scissors or a rotary cutter if you have it available, because it helps to cut down on the fraying. Some people actually will use a wood burner tool and a piece of glass mat underneath, but don't do that with woven materials or burlap because they will actually burn or start on fire. So I've heard, which would be really, really, really scary. So here we go. We got, looks like 2 more. I only cut 1 more, so I'm gonna have to cut 1 on camera here. And then at that time, I might find that one that I don't, actually, we don't need it much. 1, 2, all right, 3, 4. Just kidding. We don't need that extra one. Has that ever happened to you where you lose something and then you go buy another one and then you find the original one and you're like, oh yeah, I probably put it right where the new one goes. Right where it belongs is right where it was. All right, so there we go. There's our wreath base. This already measures a little over 24 inches across. And next time I see you, we will have these ribbon tails. I will be cutting them 13 inches long each. And I'll be putting one of these in each tie, and then either this one or that one in the alternating ties. And then also, if you guys are making the wreath along with me, this is what the raffia that I've been using looks like. It's actually a hula skirt from the Dollar Tree, which is kind of crazy, but it's true. This is the one I've used on our last wreath, or a couple wreaths ago perhaps, where I just take a few of these strands and cut them and then tie them in a bow and add them. That's a good budget-friendly way. And that's where we're at. So I will see you next time, adding in our ribbon tails and probably making our bow. Thanks so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Bye-bye.